Hi, I'm Killer Kate. I go on haunted house dates and I talk about them. You know what? Let me yap about that. In this case, I'm not talking about a haunt. I'm talking about blackout dining in the dark in Las Vegas, Nevada. Why am I making this video? Okay, because I've been 5 times and I just recently went on the same weekend that I went to Horror Unleashed in Las Vegas, and I posted about it and got the most DMs I've ever gotten. I have no idea when Blackout Dining in the Dark opened in Vegas. It has to have at least been open since 2019 because I think that's the first year that I went. I have been with just Dreadful Danny. I have been with my mom. I have been with multiple groups of friends. And it's always an experience. I like weird things. I like unique things. So what is it? It's a restaurant. You dine in the dark. I think the first and most frequent question I get is like all the way dark? Like all the way dark. Yeah. There's no blindfolds. The way it works, you make a reservation because it's Vegas. You can't just be walking in. You make your reservation, you show up. You check in. They give you a key, a little key to a locker. You have to put all of your stuff in a locker. I know that immediately makes people uncomfortable. I get it. I think it's part of it though, because you can't have your watch, you can't have your phone. There's no tracking time. There's no being not present. You literally have no choice but to be fully present for this experience, and I really appreciate that. I think it's obviously not for everyone, and that's okay. That's why I'm doing this video, because I do think there is a lack of information on the experience. And this most recent time we were there, I think like 4 parties tapped out. So here I am to yap about it, to tell you about my experiences, how it goes, what the flow is. I don't work there. I'm not sponsored by them. I've paid with my own money every time I've gone. You get your locker key, you put your stuff in the locker, anything that glows. You could obviously keep your purse with you if you wanted to. It's just another thing to keep track of or spill or whatever. So to me, it's just safer in the locker. I've locked it. I have the key. From there, you look at the drink menu if you want something besides water, and they have cocktails. It's quite limited. They have cocktails, they have wine, they have beer, I think, and I'm sure they have a couple of non-alcoholic options as well. I normally just opt for wine or water, but you need to know what you're ordering because you put that order in then, because once you enter and go to your table, there is no menu. You can't see. A whole part of this experience is you don't get to know what you're eating until after. So it is, I believe, a 7-course meal. And part of the fun is you have to guess what you're eating because you cannot see it and you don't order it. It is just served to you. More on that in a second. So you place your drink order if you're going to do that. Then you get introduced to your server. That's your lifeline essentially during this experience. I've had the same server twice. I've had other servers. They've all been really lovely. They are the expert on this experience, and so they're your guide. And they wear night vision goggles, so they can see what they're doing. They can see you. They do give you an emergency button, I guess. Like if someone needs to go to the bathroom, if someone's like tapping out, if you spill something, like you can push that and they come over to you, which I think adds a layer of safety and comfortability. And you do hands on shoulders, starting with your server and then your party, and you very slowly walk to your table and you immediately understand it is blackout dining in the dark. I personally am a cave girl. I'm from West Virginia originally, and we have many caves. And so I have been in a cave where they turn the lights off. That is the same level of darkness. Your eyes don't. I won't say your eyes never adjust because the servers have night vision goggles. That level of light emission is very low. You can obviously hear everything. I think they're quite thoughtful about the playlist they choose. It's fun. I really enjoy it. I think it is quite disorienting, but not in a bad way, just in like, whoa, this is really different. This is really unique. I've never gotten to experience food this way. I really love food. I will say that I guess this is a little bit of a spoiler. It is all vegan, and that's how I found this in the first place. I was going to Vegas the first time. I was looking for vegan food options. Someone had written a review about this place and spilled the beans that it was all vegan. I don't think they even have that on their website. They definitely aren't trying to be a vegan restaurant, or maybe they are. To which I say, thank you. But it's really for food allergens, so that way no one has to worry. Like, they don't cook with peanuts either. They don't, not, you know, I think gluten is probably prevalent. So if you're gluten free, I would definitely double check. But it is all plant based. And so therefore, you don't really have to worry as much about like, well, what about shellfish? What if I don't like this? What if I don't like that? 7 courses of delicious vegan food. And if you're like, ew, I don't eat vegan, grow up. It's really delicious. I think it's well done. I don't think it's like the most delicious, the most amazing meal I have ever had, because they are having to be quite conscious of how these things are being served. Because that's the next question I get is, well, did you spill anything? I've never spilled anything. I've never had anyone at my table spill anything. We've definitely had people not fully sober present, and they've been fine. I have heard people spill drinks, but you just have to understand you're in the pitch black and you have to be careful. You can't just like shoot your hand out and grab your drink. You have to remember, like, they walk you through where everything is, so it's that you always put it back the same place, and then your brain just knows what to do. You have to be gentle, and it's really fun, I think, to not only like you're using your hands, you can use utensils. They change the menu seasonally, so I've had different things. I would say they keep it somewhat similar because again, they're having to think about like what vessels and which way they can serve this food to people who can't see what they're eating. And it is fun to guess, like, what flavors are you getting? What's there? What's not there? The servers can't tell you what you're eating, but you can ask questions like, hey, does this have dill in it? Yes. But you can't say, hey, what is this? Like, they are instructed not to answer you. Yeah, I thought it was really delicious. It's quite filling because you do get 7 courses. You do end with a dessert. I will say this is the first time I've had someone in my party who was quite uncomfortable. It had never really crossed my mind that people would be so uncomfortable that they would show up and not be able to continue. That is not what happened to my friend. He was able to push through it, ask for what he needed. Like, he specifically asked, hey, can you turn the music down just a little bit, and can you withhold from speaking when you're next to me, because it just like is jarring. And I think that's really mature and nice, and also the server was really great about it. And so I think they want to be as accommodating as possible, just like any server anywhere, but especially in this environment. So I will say I now understand and see it's not for everyone, but you know, my friend did say he is glad that he went, and he now knows more about himself, and it was a fun experience. It was something memorable. But just know, like, if you're really not sober, it might not be the experience. If you hate the dark, obviously, this might not be for you. If you have particular phobias, just know yourself. But otherwise, I think it's really fun, and I actually think it's my recommendation if you're popping out to Vegas for a spooky experience. It's obviously not haunted. They're not jump scaring you. It's not scary, but it is, you're eating in the complete darkness, and I think that's just a really fun add-on. It's about an hour and a half, but we had 6 folks and they were quite busy, so we ended up being there 3 hours. So if you have plans and you need to get out of there at a certain time, certainly relay that to your server. But they are continually checking on you because they're bringing the next course, and once you get through all of your courses, then they ask if you're ready, and then You go out similar the way you came in, where it's kind of everyone stands up, and then one at a time the server gets everyone lined back up, and then you kind of shuffle back out. And it's always really funny coming in and out because you're passing all of these tables and they know you're passing, and they make comments sometimes and are, humans being humans and being quite cheeky. And then they kind of hold you in that in between room to let your eyes adjust, so it's not just like, and you're out. You get 60 seconds or so to readjust your eyes to light. And then once you are out, you get all of your stuff. You can then look at the menu, which I think is fun because then you've all made your guesses as to what you've been eating, and then you get to look at it. Price, I think it's like $130 a person, I want to say, which is pretty normal Vegas tasting menu prices. So there is a bathroom, normally lit bathroom. Yeah, if you check it out, let me know. If you've been, let me know. Again, this is kind of a anomaly in terms of content that I make. I'm normally talking about haunted attractions, spooky dates, spooky date ideas, but I think this is unique enough that it deserves to be talked about. I have been, like I said, quite a few times. So I just wanted to offer my perspective into the world in case someone is searching for vegan food in Vegas or unique dining experiences. This is definitely one, and I hope you get to check it out and are brave enough to try something new. And like and subscribe if you like spooky, different, weird things, particularly if you like haunted attractions. I'll see you next time.